Thank you, Dr. Tolson. Our next speaker is engineer Abdulaziz Dashti from the Kuwait Gulf Oil Company. Holding a bachelor degree in industrial engineering from the University of Miami, Engineer Dashti has extensive experience in the US manufacturing industry, followed by over 15 years' experience with Petrochemicals Industries Company, Kuwait Petroleum Company, and now the Kuwait Gulf Oil Company. His speciality since 1997 has been in occupational health and safety with an emphasis on risk and finance. Please make welcome Engineer Abdulaziz Dashti.
Sabahakum Allah bikhair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My passion for safety starts because I lost my father to an industrial accident in one of the ministries when I was very young. So I always had passion for safety. But before we get into safety, a lot of people don't know what's KGOC, and a great example even today was referred to as about KOC. So I take advantage of these events to talk a little bit about KGOC. It is one of the subsidiaries of Kuwait Petroleum Corporation, and what we do, we handle the oil and the gas in the divided zone between Kuwait and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we are employing about 1,600 employees, and we're going to be reaching 2,000 employees in about 3 years. So we are the third largest employer among KPC subsidiaries. Khafji joint operation, as you can see in the offshore zone, it's only offshore operation. So everything we do is offshore. Our wells are offshore. We bring the oil onshore just for quick processing before we can send it off. All our oil is produced from one field called Khafji field, although we have two types of oil, and we produce about 300,000 barrels per day. We also have a very rich gas field that is well developed, and inshallah in the near future will be a major gas supplier for KPC and Kuwait. The other one is the Wafra joint operation. Now this one is located inside the state of Kuwait, and our partner here is representing the Saudi share is Chevron, and we produce about 220 barrels per day, but we are well into developing new field using steam injection, and we do expect that we will double our production in the near future. Now, what is safety culture? When you look up the definition, people start talking about safety culture after Chernobyl incident, and because it was a major change. Now, as a Kuwaiti, I get upset when I hear somebody says, why are you not doing this thing right? Well, it's our culture. Our culture has nothing to do with it. Our founding fathers worked very hard. Life was very hard for them, and they appreciated hard work. Also, our religion encourages to work, to perform, and when you have a task to perform it well. So I don't buy that, our culture is the reason we don't do things safely or right. Now, my favorite culture story, it comes from DuPont. Now, DuPont is one of the biggest chemical companies in the world, and they're known for their safety performance. DuPont started as a gunpowder mill in the States in the 1800s. Obviously, you make gunpowder, things will go boom. So they had a hard time hiring people because, a lot of incidents took place, a lot of people died. They even considered bringing workers because he's French, from France, but that wasn't easy in the 1800s. So what he did, as you can see, he built his house next to the mill. That's the owner's house. They start working in the mill themselves. Many incidents, his wife was injured in one of the incidents. Many family members died. So they changed the culture. So you talk about commitment. They worked with them, and they built their house inside, next to the mill. Now, why did we change? Again, sadly, human beings just don't learn because they think there's something better there. Chernobyl, Flexboro, Piper Alpha, these are the events that make us start thinking about changing our safety culture. No difference in Kuwait. The 2000 incident, the vapor cloud explosion in Mina Ahmadi refinery, I believe at the time I worked at the petrochemical industry in Shaiba, and I had a meeting that morning in the inspection department. When I went there, the entire glass was on the table, and I walked in. I did not know there was an incident. And we're not that close to Mina Ahmadi. It shows you the power that vapor cloud explosion. Many people died. I believe 365 million in property damage, and billions in business interruption damage that nobody really calculate because we lost the units for approximately 4 years. Did we learn from that? We start working with the K companies and how to improve, but less than 2 years later, we have what we call the GC-15 fire in North Kuwait. Again, many people died. We lost a gathering center and a booster station from what we call the sweet oil. This is the oil that we use to mix with other oils to get the Kuwait export oil. And I think this is when the change starts happening. How? First with management. We hired a DuPont consultant that came to PIC, and he told my boss at the time, I'm going to go, this is my report after we did this. And he said, we're going to say, you five are the problem, which is the managing director and the DMDs. And I said, wait. They're going to throw you out. He says, then throw me out, but I'm not going to say anything different. And I remember what Khalid Muhamra, Allah Yadhkuru Khair, said, continue. And after 2 hours, Khalid Muhamra said, this is the best consultancy report I've ever listened to or read. And it changed. Management from DMD started going into the plant, looking at the plant. And again, I go back to Mr. Khalid Muhamra. He used to spend 4 hours in the fertilizer plant in July, talking to employees, teaching them about safety, telling them what hazards they face, that is good for them. And now you see a picture of the recent survey. These are the chairmen and the board members of KPC and the chairmen of the companies. That's the first thing. So what do you need to change? Commitment at all levels, but particularly senior management. 2, as Mr. Kharafi mentioned, health and safety projects treated as an investment, not a cost. And one of the things happened when the oil prices dipped and to $7, safety budgets were cut. And now we know how expensive it was, what took place after that. So the blame-free reporting culture. If you want people to report errors or near misses, they have to feel comfortable that nobody's going to come back and tell them, you did this and you're the reason behind this. A well-informed culture. We need to understand the hazards. Our people should be educated, trained, know what the hazards are. A learning culture. Now, what's a learning culture? You're going to get a lot of information from hazard, from audits. You have to have a knowledgeable management, and again, it was mentioned, competent enough to look at these reports, understand them, and brave enough to make the changes. Because these reports will definitely show weaknesses, but you have to be willing to invest and brave enough to make these changes. A rewarding culture. People are going to report near misses. They have to be at least acknowledged. When there's any achievement, how small it is, it should be acknowledged in the field of safety. Maybe I'm going a bit too fast, but now, I happen to work in the insurance business for KPC in the field called risk engineering. What is risk engineering? It didn't exist in the past. Insurance companies, they invest in you. When they insure you, they are partners because they're going to pay a lot of money. So when the big incidents took place, especially when the oil and gas industry, even in the US, start to becoming 50 years old, and a lot of incidents start taking place, they start bringing risk engineers, very well experienced engineers. They come survey your plants. They come survey your plants from safety point of view. And these guys are very good because they learned from the Flixbor or from the Piper Alpha. They learned from all these incidents. And what they do at the end, they have a safety rating system for each facility they visit. That is taken in consideration into what they charge you for the premium. Actually, some of the big companies like Allianz, if you don't score 80% on their system, adios, we don't even insure you. They don't want to even hear from you. It doesn't matter how much more they can charge you. They say, you don't fit our safety rating system. You can see in KPC, since the changes, we talked about the incident 2002, insurance companies did not trust us because we had 2 mega incidents within 20 months. Our premium rates skyrocketed. But even since then, you can see that the insurance industry rates sometimes spike because of Katrina or hurricane, but KPC, because of the improvement, and particularly in the refineries and the petrochemical plants and KOC and the risk engineering, our premium rate continue to drop, but and much lower than what we see other oil and gas industry companies within the Arabian Gulf. Now, I don't think we're there yet, not even close. We need to continue to improve. And one of the things are missing in Kuwait is a safety regulatory agency. I worked in California before I moved back to Kuwait, and we had a visitor from Cal OSHA. 2 weeks later, I'm talking to lawyers. We have so many fines. We had to change rules and regulations. If we would have spent a little bit of time on safety and listening to the regulators, it would have saved us a lot. But they have the power. They have the power. California was the first state in the United States where the head of the organization, which was the CEO, is personally responsible for safety. Meaning, if there was a safety recommendation not implemented and an incident took place, somebody got injured, an arrest warrant will be issued for him personally. And because I was in charge of the projects at the plant, and I put a project in front of Mr. Bob Campanelli, CEO, and he said, very clever boy. He says, what do you mean? You tied your project with safety. Because I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, you tied your project with safety. Because my project was not a profit project. He goes, you know very well I'm going to sign that. And I did it for a reason, because he knows he is responsible. Now, in Kuwait, what do we have? An environment, we have KIPA. KIPA almost issued an arrest warrant for one of the managing directors of the KPC subsidiaries 2 years ago. And this is a fact, because they were not responding to KIPA recommendations. KIPA hold meeting with us at KGOC once a month, so we just make sure that we meet KIPA requirements, because there are regulations and they can take us to court. Safety, I don't think we have anything close to that. We need somebody to help us improve our standards. US or British standards is not necessarily going to be good for our industry, maybe in Kuwait. And training. I've attended many training in Kuwait in safety. A lot of them are very, very poor quality. We need some agency that says, yes, either provides the training or approves training organizations. Certifications. Because of our industry, mega projects, and Mr. Kharafi knows about this, the size of the projects dictate how many safety engineers we require from the contractor. So there's a huge number of safety engineers required when we talk about the oil and gas industry. So a lot of times, they are forced to hire whatever called safety engineer, but when you really work with them, they don't know much. But if we have a certification in Kuwait, KPC can easily just issue that every contractor safety engineer has to be certified. Simple as that, certified. And the contractors will be forced to certify him, and that obviously will improve the quality of these engineers. Also, because of KPC now have its own HSE system, we can enforce HSE into the upstream, downstream, petrochemical, etc. but the private industries, they are more in need of an OSHA or NEBOSH because there is nobody's really looking at them. That's the end of my speech. Thank you very much for your time.